Let's head to Fresh Meadows. Andrew is up next. He's on the fan. What's up, Andrew? How you doing?
I'm doing very well, JJ. To think that I'm happy that my Islanders are coming back in a month. To think that we're going to have the NBA in August, which things are sort of looking good for us sports fans. The only missing thing we have right now is the familiar sounds of summer, and that is baseball. To think that everything has been so hostile with these owners and with these players, to think that we were looking forward to 4th of July baseball, it seems that thought in the back of our heads that, let's say we weren't thinking about months ago when this pandemic started. Now we want to see baseball back. We're seeing things come back online. And right now, the owners and the players have got to stop bickering. We want to see them back. No doubt about it.
Well, Andrew, it's a missed opportunity for baseball in many ways because I think we all talked about how in light of the aftermath of the pandemic and the fact that, in many ways, yes, we're starting to reopen. Yes, people are now starting to get out and about. But at night, it's not like you have your same, rituals. It's not like you have your same nightlife activities. It's not like you have, the norm summer travel that we're used to seeing this time of the year. There was such a golden chance for baseball to be the first sport back, to captivate the imagination of our country, to get people back in a way to the sport that they haven't been in a long, long time. And, Andrew, it should tell you a thing or two about the regime, the commissioner, the owners, and to a lesser extent the players. The fact that they cannot find a way to get common ground, the fact that they cannot get an agreement done, and that the symbolism of having 4th of July baseball is now out the window, Andrew, it flat out stinks. It stinks every which way.
I just find everything ridiculous to think. And this was back in March when everything looked so doom and gloom, obviously. I had this assumption. And Ryan Field did this poll on Channel 7 back in March, and he said, look, what sport do you think is going to come back first? I told everybody that it was going to be baseball. Baseball had everything going for it a couple months ago. With the NBA being the first to shut down, the NHL did, of course, I thought it was going to be baseball. But it seems the opposite effect is happening. We want to see baseball come back, but I have never seen so much hostility with everything going on right now with these players and with these owners. And at this rate, I honestly do not think there's going to be a baseball season.
I beg to differ on that, Andrew. I still believe there's going to be, but I think it's going to be shortened. I think it's going to lead to further animosity down the road when you talk about the Players Association and when you talk about the owners. And that something that should have been as simplistic as we need to get back on the field by any means necessary. We need to be the first sport back on the field by any means necessary is being flushed completely down the toilet. And I always said with baseball or any of these sports, we all want them back. We need them back for our overall well-being, for our sanity, you name it. But they weren't back because of the pandemic. They weren't back because of the virus. There are health reasons, health concerns above you and me. And above ownership, for that matter. True. Totally true. But now it seems from a health standpoint, it's all systems go. They should be ready to rock and roll come early July. And the fact that the NBA has their plan in place, the NHL has their plan in place, there's going to be golf played over the weekend, which I'm very fired up about, and the NFL and college football appear to be all systems go to start their respective seasons on time. So when I read these stories involving baseball, when I try to get my hopes up that there's going to be, some semblance of a legitimate season. You read the fine print, you read deeper and deeper into these negotiations, and it makes you that much more frustrated. Now, I'm still of the belief I'll take any baseball over no baseball. It's amazing some of you guys feel the opposite. Maybe it's due to frustration with both parties. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's this idea that you don't feel it's legitimate. Listen, I think between 81, 70, and 50, they all stink compared to what we're used to getting. I'll take anything. And I'll get into it. And trust me, if the Yankees and the Mets are playing in mid-July, I'll let all this slide. I'll be frustrated. I'll be ticked off, but I'll let it slide. Baseball's back. With each passing day, though, it becomes more and more of a stressful proposition. So I do believe there are a lot of people wondering, are we going to watch baseball in 2020? And I can't, call you out on that and say, oh, it's a ridiculous take. You're sipping the haterade. You're not buying, the legitimacy of what's going to happen down the road. But I can't share such positive vibes right now. But I think we're going to have it. I just don't know when, and I don't know what in form. I really don't.